Welcome to the Pinch to Zoom podcast. I'm Stetson.
And I'm Gabe.
In this episode, we are talking about Google I/O, recapping the major announcements at the event.
And how they're going to take over the world.
That it's their plan,
Yeah.
It's in their strategy. But first, Gabe, we're back in the studio now.
Yeah, I mean, people look around the audio that you're hearing. Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't that audio look like the studio that we were in?
It sounds so much better. We're wearing only one pair of headphones right now.
Yeah, and we're in the same room.
It's great to be back.
Well, we can put some latency in post if you want. If people really got adjusted to that from the last one.
Yeah, we can add in some echo.
Yeah, like
really bring that character back.
There we go.
No, it's so great to be
and also congratulations to you. You are graduating.
Yeah.
Well, technically you're done with college, but you're graduating officially in like 4 or 5 days. This upcoming Sunday. Classes
are done, which feels amazing.
Yeah.
Can't even begin to describe that. And
well, actually, start.
Okay, no more due dates.
Yeah.
All this weight.
And
is
now
just
stop.
lifted.
That was
Okay.
enough. You began and you begunned. The past tense of beginning.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's basically all the personal updates we have.
No.
We have more. Gabe, what else is on your mind?
We are launching a new No, just kidding. We are launching a new podcast. We figured why is one enough when we can have two?
We decided podcasts are really taking off and we need to capitalize on search and rankings.
No, yeah, maybe one day we could do a new what would you do a new podcast on if you could do one more, like if there was another podcast you could do? What would you think you could fill up 30 to 45 minutes in?
Just talking
on a
about
bi-weekly or weekly basis?
Life hacks.
Yeah.
I think that would be it. Like general life tips and life hacks. I think that's...
You think you've accumulated enough?
I think I have enough tips that I know, and I'm good at finding other tips from other people.
Yeah, but then you're just an aggregator.
Yeah, well, that's
not
okay.
authentic.
I'm okay with that.
There's that joke, a group of geese is called a flock, right?
Yes.
And then they say 3 guys in LA is called a podcast. Yeah.
That's really funny.
It's pretty true also. I mean, there's a ton of podcasts out there. And one thing we'll get to later is actually at Google I/O, they announced that they're going to start, scrubbing through all the podcasts, their software, so that if you search for something and it was in a podcast, it could pop up with that timestamp right on your Google search results.
Yeah, that was something huge with Google, the voice recognition. I think we're getting a little bit...
But first, you know what I'm going to say? Quick news. All right. First thing off the bat is, unfortunately, we're recording this episode one day too early because tomorrow OnePlus is going to be announcing their new OnePlus 7 Pro.
Yeah, this is going to be the newest phone from OnePlus. It is leaked like crazy. OnePlus has really been building up.
It is leaked like a roof, thatched roof, I guess, right?
Thatched?
An old thatched roof.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, at this point, why even
I don't
bother?
have anything particularly against thatched roofs, but I mean... I was just going to say it leaked like a leaky roof, but
yeah, I mean...
That's kind of not really a very good metaphor.
Not awful metaphor, actually.
So, you haven't looked up anything because I told you not to look up anything about the leaks on it. I'm going to just get your snap reactions.
Here we go.
All right. So I guess actually they're also going to have a OnePlus 7. It's a OnePlus 7 and a OnePlus 7 Pro.
So this is the first time... Actually, they've done 2 phones before. It was a while back. They had like a cheaper one and a higher end one. But 2 phones from OnePlus.
2 different
exciting.
phones. All right. The first thing off the bat, it's going to be the first phone, I think, to sport the Snapdragon 855.
855. Okay, that sounds great. It's going to be fast.
Yeah.
I haven't been following Snapdragon, so I don't know
It's going to be available in 6 gigabyte processing of RAM starting off, but up to 12 gigabytes on the OnePlus Pro, which is the same, I think as the S10, right?
I don't know if...
I think it can go up to 12 gigabytes.
That might be the S10.
S10, like whatever they call it.
The 5G model?
5G, yeah.
That was, I think, 12. I think OnePlus did that last year. They definitely had 8 gigs as an option.
But who cares? This is all just speculation. It is going to have 128 gigabytes supposedly and 256 of storage, probably expandable most likely.
That's
screen sizes 6.4 inch on the 7 and 6.6 or 6.7 on the Pro.
Wow. I mean, those, in my opinion, are way too big for a phone. I actually prefer smaller
You want to
sizes.
think way too big? Think about how big the sensor is on the back. Supposedly 48 megapixels.
Whoa. Stop. That's like
just
5
We need
billboards.
one of those resounding like...
Yeah.
right? The base drop out because the highest megapixel phone up till now has been the new
Wasn't it Nokia?
I think Nokia originally with the zoom
43, I think.
but now the one that's out now is the Huawei P30 Pro
Yeah.
with 42 megapixels.
That's huge.
So this has 6 more megapixels. And the Pro is also going to have an 8 megapixel one on there as well, and a 16 megapixel, most likely a wide angle and a telephoto.
I love, as a Galaxy S10 owner, having multiple focal lengths on the back of a phone. That is awesome, especially the wide angle. Does that feel excessive, though? How do you think it will impact low light performance?
It definitely is a bit questionable because if people don't know, basically low light performance usually is affected by how big of a sensor, and then how, like, usually fewer pixels is better because you want bigger pixels. So if you have a 1-inch sensor and you have only 12 megapixels versus 48, you're gonna have the pixels are gonna be spread out and can be bigger. However, phones like the Pixel and the Pixel 3 and the Pixel line in general from Google prove that you can do a lot with software to get really, really good low light performance.
Yeah, and this actually comes back to the new Pixel 3a that they announced. That's only a 12.2 megapixel camera, and that performs really well. And your camera, you have the Sony A7S II. This is a couple $1,000 camera, and that's what, 12 megapixels also. I think?
Yeah. So it's definitely a little bit questionable. I know on the Honor P30 Pro or P30, whatever it's called, they also have a black and white sensor on there. So what that does is that's a low resolution. I think it's only 8 megapixels or 12. That specifically focuses on, capturing the light levels, so that they can feed that into the RGB sensor and combine that into an image that is really good in low light.
It's fascinating to me how innovative smartphone companies are being at evolving the camera space. And to me, how little actual camera manufacturers are doing. Like, these smartphones are basically replacing point and shoot cameras. And, why don't we see multiple sensors on a point and shoot, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I'm interested. I think it'll be good. OnePlus hasn't really been known for phenomenal photos, but they do take pretty good photos.
Yeah, and I've seen some pictures. They've been trying to hype it up recently. On their Instagram and stuff, some photos taken by professionals. I mean, take it with a grain of salt when you see those because they are promotional images. And,
they're edited.
They're sent out with the best gear, sent in a helicopter. Of course, a photo is going to look good there. Also, though, from this phone, some information a little more is that it's going to be LTE only on the OnePlus 7, supposedly, and 5G LTE on the Pro. Price is unknown, they say currently. But there's people speculating that since the OnePlus 6T starts at $550, that the OnePlus 7 would start at $650, and the OnePlus 7 Pro might be at $750.
That's definitely getting higher for OnePlus, a company that used to be known for budget phones. Like, those are not budget phones at that point if they hit those prices.
Yeah, I think so. However, I mean, those are just rumored. They could drop the 6T down to $450 or just get rid of it completely and have the 7 take over where that was, but
that is what I would expect from a manufacturer. You get a new phone, new design, it replaces the old one. That's what we've basically seen from Apple with their line of phones and from other manufacturers. But given the higher price trend of smartphones in general, this wouldn't surprise me, just disappoint me.
Yeah. Moving on, in more quick news. We have DJI, the drone maker, who is known for making drones and gimbals, and really been just known for that. They were released before here today, and before May 15th coming up in the future was the Osmo Pocket. That was their last released product. And now they supposedly are releasing an action camera. They haven't announced it. Again, this is leaky roof here. It's been letting all sorts of things leak through, and we snatched around through those water buckets, and oh, look, there's some rumors here about the DJI Osmo action camera.
Okay, this is exciting. What is this action camera rumored to have? What's gonna set it apart, or what's gonna be different?
Not much. You aren't a big fan of action cameras.
I'm not. I think first of all, the content they produce isn't that interesting for me. Like, what I'm gonna record myself skiing and then what? Like, show all my friends I went skiing. I see them being more beneficial for unique situations where with more adverse weather conditions, for putting together a larger shoot or a larger film project. But unless I have a use for that, they're not a product I'm particularly interested in or have been following.
I definitely get that. I'm on the opposite end. I've owned every GoPro since the 3 Plus. Actually, maybe no. I think the 3 Plus was the first one I got, and I've definitely noticed that they've caught on a lot in the industry of YouTubers because they are a great second camera to have. For vloggers, for people that are just shooting everyday videos. They're under $400. If you buy an older one, they're on sale $300, $250, and they shoot 4K video now, decent sound, and are fairly usable and small, and also very rugged. So if you need that other angle of you going in the water, boom, instant shot of you. Great.
They're definitely great for that in the multiple angles. I'm not a huge fan of their wide angle distortion. I think that's...
Oh, I know. Yeah, I have friends also who hate it.
It doesn't look great. But the versatility of the cameras is true. How do you think DJI's product is going to impact GoPro?
I personally, we're gonna have to wait till it comes out, and see what the reviews are. I personally don't think GoPro should be too scared of DJI. They supposedly have about the same specs. It looks like 4K 60 frames a second on the DJI. No 1-inch sensor, which would have been something that could have really set it apart. But that would have also driven up the price. They most likely are going to price it at around $350, which would put it right under the GoPro 7 Black. The only thing really that looks from the leaks to have set it apart is the fact that it has a front screen. So where the GoPro only has that touch screen on the back, the DJI action camera will supposedly... I said supposedly, if someone was playing a drinking game to that, they would be completely wasted.
They're gone.
Yeah.
And just whip out a second beer, ready to go.
If we are to believe these leaks, the action camera is going to have a screen on the front, which will allow you, when you're vlogging, selfie style, to actually frame it up a little better.
I think that's a compelling feature. That's something I wish my actual camera had. And if DJI is able to release a small, portable, durable, weatherproof or sealed camera that is ideal for vlogging without too much distortion and maybe a really great smartphone companion app, I think that's a compelling product.
See, the thing where I kind of don't know why, I don't know. Their Osmo Pocket has that same type of screen for vlogging, right? So why would you use I don't know, if you're going through that much of action-y stuff, are you really going to be trying to frame up your shot of yourself? It's kind of questionable. I don't know. We'll have to see what it actually has, and if there's any special sauce that they throw in there, if they have a type of lens that is as wide angle as the GoPro but less distortion, that could really set it apart. If they have swappable lenses or adjustable focus, that could set it apart.
Right, yeah. And DJI is so good at stabilizing images right now, and they also acquired Hasselblad. So I'm thinking those two things combined with their image processing, their color science, and maybe throw in something with stabilization, maybe built-in IBIS, or maybe it's attachable to a special
gimbal. Yeah, they need to definitely integrate it into their current lineup of products, or offer some really compelling accessories. That's the only way they're going to be able to compete with GoPro, because GoPro is now, it's like the iPod or the iPhone of, I guess the iPhone's a little less, but the iPod of, iPod was MP3 players, GoPro is action cameras.
Yeah, and there are definitely a lot of cheap action cameras out there. GoPro is definitely the most well-known and has some of the best features. It'll be interesting to see what DJI is able to release in that space.
Yeah, and it's the sad thing. I think we should take a moment of silence. Is that in similar news, or not similar news from DJI, something they will not be releasing most likely is a follow-up to the Phantom 4 Pro.
What? Gabe,
yeah, just wait.
Phantoms?
Moment of silence.
Okay.
All right, I think that was long enough moment. Yeah, the Phantom drone, if you aren't familiar with drones, is, when I say drone, it's probably that shape you think of.
Did it start DJI's?
It pretty much was the beginning of DJI. Before then, they had been doing flight controllers and stuff. Around 2013, they released the original Phantom drone. Followed up with a couple other versions of it, then got to the Phantom 2, Phantom 3. Obviously, you know how numbers work. There's a couple versions of that, Advanced Pro. Then they got Phantom 4, Advanced Pro, version V2. And then in the fall, an RTK version for surveying, and then nothing. Since December.
Radio silence.
Yeah, and even worse, radio. I don't know what's worse than radio. Radio like vacuum. Since December, they have been out of stock of the Phantom 4 V2s on their website. And this absence and out of stockness has created such a scare among, because people, I guess it's really popular among surveyors, and people use it for mapping because it has what's called a global shutter.
Right.
I should have looked that up.
Yeah.
But all I know,
both just
all I
staring at
know
each other.
is that is very good for mapping and surveying. Basically, what I think it is instead of where a normal camera will read line by line, right? This captures all the information at once, so there's no distortion if the drone's moving, right?
That sounds, yeah.
That's usually how you map your flying.
We get rolling shutter if
Exactly.
you're filming with a camera. This is why telephone poles look angled if you're recording a car driving along the road. And I think you're right. If you're flying a drone up close to 40
and even
miles
this is
per
even
hour,
though this is taking a picture, yeah, if you're flying it when you take a picture, it's gonna, even if it's just milliseconds later, it's gonna be slightly shifted.
yeah.
So the global shutter, yeah, captures all the information at once, and it's the only drone from DJI that has that. They're trying to replace it with the Mavic 2. It looks like.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think is gonna happen? We're not
I
gonna
don't know.
see a Phantom.
I really hope this is not true. This rumor stems from their director of public safety, Romeo Dersher, I think his name is, saying on a podcast that his quote was, "Yes, the line of Phantom, with the exception of the Phantom 4 Pro RTK, has come to an end." And he also said that supposedly the project leader for the Phantom 5 had been reassigned.
Fascinating. I think this is from an outside perspective.
Yep.
I think Mavic is gonna fill the space of the Phantom, because if you think about it, the Phantom is large and bulky, and that's awful. But the image quality is fantastic. That's why people buy the drone. So if DJI can take the small, portable, feature-packed Mavic and bring it up to the image quality of the Phantom 5, there would be no reason to go with the Phantom 5. You'd want to go Mavic anyway.
Well, I think I would kind of disagree. There are definitely, for one, you show up to a job site with a Mavic 2, you show up with a Phantom 4, most likely people are going to believe in you a lot more if you show up with a Phantom versus a Mavic. Looks a lot more professional. So that's why a lot of people like the Phantom look. You know, people recognize it and who aren't in the industry as a good drone. So, you know, it gives you that instant credit. I know even some people who will bring like the Inspire that they have to some jobs and just put it on the table just to make it look like that's what they're using, and then grab their Mavic 2 and take it out and fly that one. You know, just because they know the job doesn't need that quality, but the person, you know, that hired them doesn't really.
Clueless.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a really unique perspective.
And the other two things would be that, again, that global shutter and also the ability to hand catch.
You can hand catch a Mavic.
You can, but if you're on a boat, for example, you know, or some moving platform, it's a lot easier to hand catch the leg of a Phantom, you know, than it is to place your hand out and let the Mavic land on it.
I mean, I grab it.
Oh, I've done that too, but it's still, you're a lot closer to the propellers.
Yeah, it's all right.
And also because it's a heavier drone, you get better wind resistance, so it can fly in higher winds.
We'll see what DJI
So I really,
does.
this is, if DJI listens to this for some reason because they use Google's podcast search things and listen to every podcast
and
that
we
mentions
just start
DJI,
trending like crazy.
send this to them, tweet this at them. DJI, please, please, please do not discontinue the Phantom line. It's such an iconic drone, and I really think you could do a lot of cool things with it, like interchangeable lenses, interchangeable cameras. Really, yeah.
What if they just brought down the price of the Inspire?
Okay, DJI, do that. Never mind, I take it back. Or if they're going to release a new drone, maybe they need to cancel the Phantom line and come up with something that kind of incorporates the foldability of the Mavic, but is just larger.
Yeah,
I can see that too.
I mean, like, I think the portability of the Mavic is what makes it compelling.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Gabe, I see noted Memorial Day sales. Do you have anything to talk about for that, or is that?
No, I just wanted you to casually slip in and not like that. that was very clumsily. That was like stumbling out, like the butler stumbling out with a tray of here's your tea, ma'am, whoa, and spilling it everywhere.
Well, it's because we have all these buckets of water in our
leaking apartment, and you're just tripping over them.
I almost fell into another.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no.
Apple Card that is leaked. This is the new Apple Card coming out, and
where are you even reading this from?
I put it in the.
Well, what I did want to say about Memorial Day sales is, hey,
you actually had some?
I actually had some stuff. Basically, Memorial Day is coming up, so I just wanted to put a reminder out to people that if you're looking to buy something, wait till Memorial Day possibly, because that's when a lot of stuff goes on sale, and you might be able to get a good deal on it. So, yeah. Anyways, Apple Card.
Apple Card. It is leaked. Certain Apple employees are receiving their card as part of an internal beta program. This is kind of exciting. It's a titanium card. We talked about it previously, and basically it looks nice. They talked about the setup process. Apparently the packaging will have an NFC chip in it. You'll bring your iPhone close to the packaging, get that magical AirPod experience of getting your phone to pair with the card and set it up, and it'll be good to go.
We'll see when Apple rolls it out. I'd imagine, I don't know, would they try to do it before WDC?
They may touch on it again. They wouldn't touch on it again. It'll be the summer. It'll be sometime in the summer, like August, I think.
I think July. I would imagine a July rollout would be nice. But yeah. Other things we missed from Apple coming out.
Apple TV, their new app is launching today. You can download it on the App Store, I think. I'm not actually sure.
I think it's the app. Oh, it's their it's the Apple
TV app.
Yeah. Don't say Apple TV. You had me confused because I didn't even.
Oh.
I was thinking they're launching a new hardware.
No hardware. The new Apple TV app.
No, the new
interface.
The new TV app for iPhone and iPad.
It's launching.
It's launching today.
Check it out.
Yeah. If you didn't see it, the recap is basically that it aggregates all your content.
Yeah, I think
Stetson just went wide-eyed because he did not look that up either.
It integrates your content subscription services into one platform, so you can easily watch your favorite shows on your Apple TV, on your iPad, and it's got a really nice new interface. Check it out.
Yeah. And last news is, like we predicted, the Galaxy Fold has folded temporarily, and then Samsung is taking that and back and refolding in like someone who threw a first paper airplane and then was like, oh crap, and looked up on YouTube how to actually fold it. Then boom, we got a second one, hopefully. But it's not actually going to be a second one. I don't know. We'll see if this is a repeat of their Galaxy 7 Note battery problems or not.
They just took that off the market, basically. Yeah. I think they've put so much effort into Fold, they're not going to take it off the market. But I also don't see it launching until the fall. Like, let's be real. It's been almost 21 days, I think, since it was supposed to come out.
Well, what happened?
Well, someone didn't fold the Fold. You know, that seems like a pretty critical task. They had robots folding the Fold. When humans got their hands on it, they folded it completely differently. It also had a plastic filament on the screen. It looked like a plastic screen protector, but it wasn't. It was essential to the functionality of the device. If that got damaged in any way, your screen was shot.
No, I don't know. Was that actually what it was for? I heard it was for, what was it for? I don't know, but I heard that that wasn't the reason why the screen was breaking. I forget what exactly this...
It was part of a contributing factor, though, because, like, peeling that up...
I think the main issue was that, that people were... You know, when a robot folds it folds it the same way over and over and over again, and they were doing it, I think, pressing from the outside, most likely.
Yeah.
And they found that people open it all sorts of ways. Maybe they'll put one finger at the top of the phone, one at the bottom, open it that way. And also they had the issue with stuff getting into the phone, and then when you fold it, it just smashes right through the screen.
And that's really like where you have a plastic screen that's so much less durable.
Yeah.
That's where you get these issues. And another thing too, like if you were to get particles underneath that protective layer, like that's gone. And this is a $2,000 product. So I think Samsung needs to hit the books, rethink their fold.
Well, hit the books and look how books are folded.
Yeah,
take a page out of that book, put that page into their fold, and...
Was anyone at Samsung actually using the Fold? That's my question, right? Like,
no.
Yeah, they were like, we're making this product. It's going to be awesome. We're going to test it a bunch of times to verify it'll be functional and durable. Meanwhile, I don't think anyone's using it because the Galaxy S10 is out. That's so much better.
Well, and they didn't really, it seemed like they didn't really have it out, and then they just instantly sent it to, like reviewers and started selling it. So, Samsung, you got a mess on your hands again. Hopefully you got what you wanted from being the first to market and got all that press. Like, let's see how that backfired. But yeah, that's pretty much it for quick news. Yeah, I think 25 minutes or so of that is that still quick?
Welcome to our long, drawn-out news section of the podcast.
Yeah, well, if we make the podcast 5 hours long, then that's relatively
that is
quick.
Pretty quick.
But moving on to the main thing we're going to talk about this episode, Google I/O.
What is Google I/O, Gabe?
Well, they basically just scare us, and I don't know. Actually, my takeaway from it was their big thing that they said over and over throughout Google I/O was Google's mission is to make technology more available for everyone. And then also then the rephrasing of that was make sure that technology benefits the many, not the few. Oh, Google, it's a company that cares about people. Oh wait, no, it's a corporation that cares about profits. So anything that they announce, any big initiative, you have to remember is based on a company that is selling all your data or using all your data to then sell better ads.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not all negative and, all conspiracy, Google's out to end the earth, but I think also you can't be all Google's the best company in the world because they are this huge company that undoubtedly has one of the largest influences on people's lives, how people interact and how people access information.
Absolutely. And those are really good points. Google is definitely aggregating a lot of data and they're using that to provide better services. So it's kind of a win-lose situation. Some may feel it's invasive, it's an encroach on privacy, and they may have concerns about that. But the benefits Google provides are kind of awesome in my opinion. So let's dive into Google I/O and what they announced. They had a bunch of speakers come up onto the stage, talk about a lot of different things. What should we talk about first?
I mean, let's first talk about the thing that you have in your hand right now.
Yes.
The Google Pixel 3a.
This is it. This is the brand new phone from Google.
Can you guys see it right there? Yeah.
Yeah, you see that? Is the reflection good? Is it?
Well, what does it look like?
I'll describe it to you. Imagine a Pixel 3. Now imagine a Pixel 3.
What if they don't know what a Pixel 3 looks like?
Made of plastic.
Well, go Google a Pixel 3. Well, actually, if you're Googling something, you might as well Google the 3a. But if you do know what a Pixel 3 looks like.
It's basically got a 5.6-inch display on the front. Let me check that.
Yeah, it's about the same as the iPhone XS or XS, right?
Yeah, it's got a full screen 5.6-inch screen on the front.
Little bezel
OLED.
at the top and bottom.
Yeah, we got some bezels. It's very symmetrical, which I appreciate. We got the back has the two-tone design with a matte finish and then a glossy finish. This one is a plastic material. I think it's a polycarbonate. And there's no wireless charging. We have the return of the headphone jack on the top of the phone and USB-C for fast charging on the bottom.
Yeah, and starting at what, $399?
$399.
That's pretty incredible for a phone that really is Google experience.
It's Google's version of Android, which is, I think, one of the cleanest and best experiences of Android. And what Google does with Pixel 3a is they bring a great camera, great battery life at an affordable price point. And that's sending a message. Like that's all
you're
you need.
Showcasing the phone to me. I wish people could see this as well. You're like professional display model. Like this is what it is, No, but yeah, it really is a strong argument and counterpoint to all these really expensive smartphones that we were seeing on the market.
Yeah, like if you think to yourself, why do you buy a phone, right? Just, like ask yourself that. I bet for many people, it's for the camera because that captures memories in those special moments. And getting such a good camera with Google's awesome image processing, we've got great features of the camera with the HDR plus, super resolution zoom, motion autofocus, night sight for almost seeing in the dark. Like, this is such a good camera at such a compelling price point that I think it's really gonna perform quite well.
It really does kind of show how other manufacturers are kind of jamming in a bunch of features that people don't necessarily need. Yeah, sure, they're super helpful to have, and after a while you might get used to having them and then never want to go back. But like, for example, the face unlock on iPhones, or the wireless charging, or I'm trying to think what else have they done recently. Oh, or even the multiple cameras. All of those things add a ton more to the cost. And really, the question is, how much overall do they, improve the experience?
Right. And yeah, I think Google just hit the nail on the head with this phone. Like, they got what people are looking for. Other budget phones typically sacrifice on camera quality. It's something you expect. And this is one of the first phones to really highlight its camera quality and experience at $400, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, one thing that was actually cool about this is that supposedly it has up to 30 hours of battery life on a single charge, and it does that using machine learning. So it learns, hey, when this is happening or this time of day, you're usually not using this thing, so we can turn down the screen, or what, smart stuff like that.
It is really great, and Google saves all your photos in Google Photos, and it has the headphone jack, so you can keep your existing headphones and use it with the phone. It is lacking a few things, so there's no water resistance. It's got a Snapdragon 670 instead of the Pixel 3 is the Snapdragon 845. It's lacking group selfie mode. It's lacking Top Shot, which automatically selects the best photo from a burst, and a few things like that. But overall, I think Google has put together a compelling package at a great price point. And the question for people is like, what are they looking for in a phone experience? And if it's camera and battery life, I think Pixel 3a is a great option.
Yeah. And in related news, they also announced that they're rolling out Android Q.
Yeah, this was the Q beta.
Okay.
And, yep. And it's coming to more phones than ever before.
21 phones.
21 phones. And what are some of the features we saw with Android Q, Gabe?
The one thing that they said, which was I thought was like, cringy, was they said, oh yeah, the screen continuity.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, that's a bit, or with the foldable phones,
right? Excuse me.
And that's a bit. I thought that was a bit too soon after, the whole debacle with the Galaxy Fold to be touching on that. I think.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure.
One of the cooler things is Google has this feature called Live Caption. I don't know if you know about it, but basically, if you're watching any video on YouTube, on Instagram, even watching videos that you've recorded of your family members, or like at an event, someone speaking, you can turn on live caption and it will automatically put words on the screen. So if you're hearing impaired, or if you are in a place where you can't turn on the audio, like sitting in the dentist's office, waiting for an appointment,
really quiet in there, you can't do anything,
you're like, maybe not have the audio. Well, first it'll be on full volume when it starts playing, so you could be like, no, that moment of panic, drop your phone, throw it across the room, or whatever. But so they used to have that feature, but what they've done now is it no longer requires an access to the internet.
That's something huge, and we saw this with Assistant too. Google is finding a way to take their machine learning and their algorithms to bring down the size of Google Assistant and this new feature of auto captioning the videos to put it locally on your device.
Yeah, they said I think the numbers were from 100 gigabytes of processing to, I think, less than a gigabyte.
It's like 500 megabytes or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal to see.
And they're taking that also and putting Google Assistant on more devices than ever too, because it's, can be on low powered devices. I think devices costing as little as $30, they can put it on these phones.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. And I think that kind of ties back to the mission statement that you kind of said at the beginning of this segment, where they're trying to give access to technology to as many people as possible.
Yeah. Another cool thing, well, one thing that they emphasize security and privacy a ton throughout this whole event.
How do you feel about that? Did Google do a good job? Did they touch on the things they needed to?
I don't know. They said one thing that was supposedly a new feature in Android Q, which I personally, first off, I'll ask you this after, but isn't it thing that Apple did already is that you can set when an app can use your location, and which app can.
Yeah, so this is something Apple's been doing for a long time.
I feel like that's 3 or 4 iOS versions.
Yeah,
ago.
actually a very long time. So Google embarrassingly late to the game on that.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think we're in an era where people are more concerned and more aware about privacy. And I think Google did a really good job addressing the privacy concerns. And while they may have not done everything in the best interest of the consumers, they basically give you a lot of options to turn off certain features or anything that may be encroaching on your privacy where they're getting personal data. This can often lead to a better experience, but Google is now really giving you the option to turn that off if you choose.
Yeah, they also said they have this focus mode, which is talking about turning off. You can actually mark which apps are distracting. Like for me, I'd be like Instagram, no, YouTube, no. Mainly social media, but maybe that game you're addicted to as well. And it will not let you go into them. But it will still like let you get, calls and texts and stuff that you need to communicate with people if that's what you need. Or you could, block those out too.
And that's part of their digital well-being experience.
Which I think, I think that's pretty cool. Because I think does that link into YouTube, I think, as well?
Yeah, and I think YouTube will know how much time you're spending on it, and then that can kind of tie into digital well-being, and you can get notifications. You can also, with Pixel 3 and 3a, something I've loved, you can just put it face down on a table or surface, and the phone will automatically go into do not disturb mode. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to loop back to privacy. You can now use incognito mode on Google Maps.
Yes, and you can set how long you want it to store your location, like tracking. So, like, do you want to be able to go back 6 years and, be able to see
where you were on that Tuesday on March?
I've got to say, it's actually, I don't know if other people have ever used it even, but I've found it pretty helpful, like to figure out, hey, what did I do on that day? Or like, where was it that we went what was that good restaurant we went to? If you can't, I have a pretty good memory, but occasionally sometimes I've been like, I couldn't remember for the life of me, like what route we took or, stuff like that. And yeah, being able to go back into your Google history on maps and be like, that's the day. And boom, that's the day we went. Yeah.
I like it too. They'll email me how far I've traveled in relation from going to the Earth to the moon. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah. How far have you traveled?
I'd have to pull up one of the emails and check. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the privacy things that they talked about. Another thing was that they are going to, what was it? It was on Google Assistant, wasn't it? No.
Like you can choose what personal information you
share.
Yes,
that's what it was. Yeah.
If it knows your mom's house or like what your pets' names are, things like that.
So they basically they're going to be rolling out all of this Google Assistant stuff in the summer. But one of the cool things that they had was the ability to string commands together.
Yes, this was amazing. What did they do for that?
I mean, they just went through everything, and one thing that was cool is they were doing it live on stage, so you knew it was actually kind of working somewhat. But it was like simple commands could be processed on the phone, like turn on your flashlight, take photo, etc. But then they also, could do more complex stuff like using Duplex, which is their super smart AI. They could have it book car rentals online, so you could say, "Hey Google." Oh no, is your device going?
No, I turned it off.
You can. Sorry for anyone else's devices who are in the room of the podcast, but yeah, you could activate your assistant and then be like, book me a car rental for my vacation, and oh, this is when your vacation is because you scheduled it. It'll look through the place where you're gonna be, go to Enterprise, boom, and then it could do it all. And what they're working with is the ability to have it not actually require any integration on the behalf of on the part of the
business.
Yeah. So Enterprise wouldn't have to communicate with Google to figure out, here's this back-end APIs or what, stuff like that. Or, let me change the site to work. Google Assistant would be able to navigate, figure out, oh, this is the dates, here's the things, bop, bop, bop. And then it would know your car preference somehow. I don't know how.
I think it would look, for example, this is like a privacy thing where on the one hand, all right, Google knows my preference, like what I've used in the past. They can make an automatic suggestion or recommendation. On the other hand, this means they're basically like skimming through your emails to find that email from the car rental on what vehicle you had.
And also maybe know what car you own.
Things like that. So,
and then they could ask you that. And just, I don't know.
Like, it's helpful, but it's also privacy, and you can, I don't know, it's up to you where you feel you fall on that spectrum.
But speaking of cars and driving, they also are going to have a new driving mode where you can just say simply enable driving mode, and the phone, if you don't have a display to do Android Auto, it will go into driving mode, which basically puts all the relevant information you need at your fingertips in a simplified format. And then you can easily say like, oh, Google play this, and it'll instantly do that, or
This is actually the first time they're bringing Google Assistant to Maps, where now you have like an interface you can interact with the Assistant in Google Maps.
Which is really, I think, when you need it most.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And along with getting an update in the car, Google Maps is getting an update on the phone for walking directions. Did you see that part?
Well, I've actually had those.
You've had those?
Yes, because I am a level 7 dark wizard.
Gabe, I didn't know you were a level 7 dark wizard. Oh my god.
Whatever it is.
You're going to share your powers with me.
Yeah, a local guide is what they call it. Basically, if you share enough information for everything you share on Google Maps, like, for example, every review, every recommendation, every filling in businesses info correctly or correcting
submitting photos,
stuff like that. Google gives you points if you're part of the local guide program. Once you get to a certain level, they start giving you more and more perks. For example, I've gotten like free subscriptions for 3 months to New York Times, a bunch of different things. It's nothing great, but
you should not actively do this for the perks.
Oh, wait, what?
Maybe you should actively do this for the perks.
You shouldn't, but I don't do it for the perks. I do it for the love, man. I do it. No, I actually, one of the reasons I do contribute to Google Maps a lot by like putting up photos is because I like to see when I search for a restaurant or place, I love to see what it looks like. So anytime I go to some place that doesn't have any photos, I love to, if I have my 360 camera, put up a new 360 photo or put up a new photo in general.
I think that those help businesses too. Like, businesses should be doing this because it helps people decide, see the atmosphere of the restaurant, what the dishes look like, things like that. But Gabe, so what have you been experiencing in Google Maps? Like, you go to the city, the reception is terrible.
The thing is, it only works in cities, and I'm not in cities a lot, so I've not liked it.
Okay,
much.
So this is the feature when you're in a city.
It's kind of like 5G in that, everyone's been saying, oh, 5G is going to be so great, 5G is going to be this, but really they're only going to have the millimeter wave 5G or whatever. The real 5G that's going to be the top benefits of like possibly 1 gigabyte per second speed. That's only going to be in like super populated cities and areas and only specific areas. You're never going to get that. Even if 5G rolls out into, rural areas or smaller cities, you're never going to get that type of 5G. That's basically because they need a longer wavelength to go longer distances. They can't have as many antennas to do that shorter wavelength.
Yes, this is true. What I was trying to say is when you're in a city and you're using your GPS and your blue dot of where you are bounces all around, what Google is bringing to Google Maps is the ability to use your camera, and it will use visual positioning.
I guess we should have described the feature first before we went into a tangent on it.
That's what I'm trying to do. Visual positioning. The camera will scan stationary landmark items in the city, skyscrapers, buildings, things like that, to give you a much more accurate position of where yourself. And it will now use augmented reality to display in the world in front of you on your camera a arrow depicting which direction to turn or where your destination is.
Yeah, I think it's pretty great. I want nothing more than people walking around holding their phones in front of them.
Okay, people do this already. Now they'll at least know where they're going.
Well, they'll know where they should be going. They won't know where they are going.
I want to see this in grocery stores. Is that weird?
That would be pretty awesome, I gotta say.
Right? Like, you're going to the store, you're like...
And you need to know where this item is.
Where is the Beyond Meat burger?
Yeah, and it takes you to that aisle.
And it just...
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. Which store? Walmart would do that first, I feel like.
I want to see it at grocery stores. That's where I get the most.
No, I want to see it at Walmart, though. I mean, I don't want to see... I hate Walmart. They're another corporation. I don't hate them, but I don't particularly like Walmart. But I think
There goes that sponsorship.
Yeah, great. There was $1 million Oh, this email, yeah, $1 million per episode. Great.
Oh, Gabe.
Oh no. Yeah, no. We'll see. I doubt we'll get it in stores until we get something like real AR glasses. That's when you might actually see.
So Google Glass making a comeback.
No, that is most definitely not making a comeback. I'm talking about the $3,500 HoloLens.
Interesting. I could see this where this sounds silly, but imagine you have a mount on your shopping cart. You put your phone in this mount and it'll just show you and guide you around the store, right? How cool would that be? I love it. Maybe Instacart or another grocery delivery service, they'll invest.
I feel like it would be cheaper actually to probably, rather than somehow mapping out every single store, and figuring out where, because the problem is not to
no two stores are the same.
Target might be the closest to getting two stores the same because they're pretty regular, but really you'd have to map out every single store visually, whereas if they could simply do some way to put location markers somehow, and then maybe use some sort of device that you can put on the cart or that integrates with your phone via Bluetooth or something like that, that would be cheaper possibly.
Yeah,
and less time consuming.
A different system for it.
Yeah,
maybe airports too. I think
the airports that would be more. I could see that being more useful,
right?
That could be something that Google slowly works out to scan. It has a lot more high traffic and there's a lot fewer, right? So if you start with the biggest airports and work your way down.
And the signage is the same too. There's very few changes.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, we'll have to see where that goes. The last thing I think really that Google talked about was their smart home.
Oh wait, did you see? All right. So
rewind. And the last thing, what was the last thing that second to last?
Second to last thing is you said you liked going to restaurants, right, to take pictures?
Yes.
Well, new with Google Lens, right? You go to a brand new restaurant.
Google Lens.
You open up the menu and you're like, sugar biscuits. What do I get? You're hungry. Oh, no. You're indecisive.
Well, sugar biscuits, I thought.
No, that was just.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay.
You whip out your phone, Google Lens, you point it at the menu.
Yeah.
Google will now highlight the popular items on that menu for that restaurant. And you're always like, all right, I'm in this Chinese place. I'm uncultured. I don't know what this is. You can now tap on your phone on the menu item. It'll pull up a picture of exactly what it is and explain the dish in more detail. How cool is that?
For me, this was a little scary because one thing is that they're going to recommend. One thing is that I know, the tap and learn about it, but you also it uses data about like what dishes people have said that were good, and it will show you the most popular dishes as well, which I think is a bit. I don't know. I see the benefits of it, but I also see like how this could be used to try to squeeze even more money out of businesses. So like. You could be like, hey, Google could be like, hey, pay us to recommend you can control which dishes get recommended, right?
So it's like you're seeing it from an advertisement perspective.
Yeah, it's another place that Google can say, hey, have a chef's recommended dishes now by simply paying us an extra $3.99 a month. It's like it's another way for Google to monetize something.
I think we'll have to wait and see where it goes. I'm excited for it because I've frequently been in situations where I had no idea what to order. And honestly, being able to just point your phone at a menu and tap on the item without having to misspell it and just getting pictures, like that's what I want.
Well, this is the problem with Google is they build things and software that people actually find helpful or eventually find is really useful to have. Like for example, this AR maps. That's pretty helpful to have in cities actually, because like you said, your GPS always is bouncing off because the way GPS works, the signal will bounce off, different buildings and stuff like that, and put you a block away, and then all of a sudden you'll be facing the other way, and then it'll put you this block. It's super, super, super not helpful to have a map sometimes. But if you have AR, that's really nice. However, what if they start charging, to example, highlight a business for, So when you're walking by CVS, it can pop up little ads saying, hey, this is, you've been wanting to buy, I don't know, like naked juice and shampoo. Those two things have been
naked juice at CVS.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh great. Now we're advertising for CVS. No, no, but yeah, it can know. Hey, you said you ran out of this. Well, guess what? CVS has this for 50% off for new users or whatever.
And you're walking right by it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think, or for example, it would tell you that not about CVS because it knows that down the block is, I don't know, what another store that sells shampoo, possibly Walmart.
Wait, no. Oh God.
It'd be the Dwayne Reed's if you're in New York City, for example.
Okay, Dwayne Reed's.
And yeah, down the block, and they just happen to be paying Google for advertisements in their AR thing, so they're the one that gets recommended.
Wow, I can definitely see how that's scary because that directly influences consumer behavior, like which stores people go to because they know that store's there, they see the advertisement.
Yeah,
I think we have to wait and see where it does go. My impression from the keynote, and maybe this was their intention, but my impression is they're crowdsourcing data from actual reviews on the stores and on Yelp.
Well, they're never going to talk about because the I/O is a very consumer-facing event. They're never going to talk about, and this is the ways that we're going to influence your behavior and monetize. That's going to be when their pitches to brands.
But basically, as a business, you can pay Google to succeed.
Yeah, and for example, this could influence. You have all these small, like stores, local stores that might sell the same things, but they don't have the same advertising dollars that national chains do.
Right. That's fascinating.
So I loved all the new products and stuff, but it's always scary. But moving on now, finally, to the final thing was the Google Smart Home. So they've already influenced you walking around all the time, now, and they've influenced your driving, they influence you at restaurants. But now they're also going into the home even more.
So now you took out your walking directions, you were navigating around, you got tired, you had your favorite meal, or you had that popular meal at that new restaurant that just opened, and now you walk home, and boom, Google Home in the home. Except, Gabe, what is it called now?
Well, wait, no, Stetson, I'm not buying into this. I have my Nest cameras. They are secure. They are safe. I'm sorry, I don't trust Google. Go with, I have Nest and they're secure, right? They're not integrated.
Gabe, what? I have some hard news, buddy.
What?
Google owns Nest.
Well, yeah, I know they own Nest, but Nest is their own brand.
And they're rebranding Google Home products as Nest.
Okay, but still, Nest is its own. Okay, I'll stop trying. Basically, what happened is, Google owns Nest. They rebranded all the Google products, the Google Assistants, as Nest Smart.
I think the
Assistants.
truth is people didn't like having Google in their home. That was a little weird.
Yeah,
but they're totally fine with having Nest in their home.
Well, what the problem is, they've gotten rid of now Nest's cloud services, and they're changing it into Google services. So no longer do you have a Nest account and stuff to log in. It's now a Google account, and they're discontinuing all the integrations with. So, for example, you used to be able to have your Nest camera turn off your your Hue lights when you left, or even better, you could say to your Alexa, "Hey, change my smart thermostat setting or whatever on my Nest thermostat." But no, because that's their competition. Google will be very selective, they say, in the name of privacy and security about who they give this to, but I'm going to bet most likely it's going to be to drive you towards buying more Google products and less products, smart home products from other companies.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Google's really trying to make a push in the smart home, establishing yourself in someone's home. It's kind of a personal space. Amazon's doing a really good job, but I think once you're in the home, people are using it more, they're integrating with the services more, potentially they're shopping more. I know I don't shop with my voice, but who knows where it could go. And I think Google really wants to place themselves at home, and Nest is the brand they've identified to be the most consumer friendly and that people seem to resonate well with. So here we are. And they announced some new products. What did we see from Google?
We saw one new product, I think, right?
I think just one new product.
Yeah, the Nest Home Max, which
I have Nest
Hub Max.
Hub Max. They got rid of the.
That's what I meant. Let's rewind that. Nest Hub Max, Stetson. If you thought it was the Nest Home Max, you're just being silly.
What a goofy.
No, it is the follow up, but mainly the bigger brother to their what did it used to be called? The Google
Google.
Smart Hub, I think, or
Yes.
that's something like that.
Oh, yikes.
But it is a 10.1 inch display and has a camera there.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all you
Basically,
gotta
it's
know.
basically if you take the Google Home Hub, that smaller form factor device with the screen, you
Stretch it out.
merge that with a Google Home Max.
It's basically if you take a Google tablet and put a speaker behind it and prop it up on your counter.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think it looks pretty nice. It's coming at $229. I'm interested to see how the audio, not see, but hear how the audio quality is. But it seems like a really great device for managing your smart home, seeing who's knocking at your door if you have cameras set up, and things like that, and also calling your friends with Google Duo or something like that.
So you just mentioned seeing who's knocking at your door. This is another thing you won't be able to see with the new Nest integration and stuff. Amazon Alexa Show, you won't be able to see on that who's knocking on your door with Nest cameras because of this.
Wow.
Stupid.
Gabe's an Alexa user.
I'm getting very frustrated by.
Oh my God.
Well, not by this. Well, yes, by this.
This is basically
It's not
a play.
because of what happens to me. It's because what happens to everyone. Basically.
Oh, don't try and spin this on him.
No. Yes. Smart home products are very, very expensive. And the way it goes is people buy them over time. Most people don't go out and drop, if you wanted to outfit your whole smart home at once, that's like upwards of $2,000 easily. So most people don't go out and say, oh, let me just, drop that in a night and install that. Most people go, okay, let me try smart lights, or let me try, a Google Assistant or an Amazon Assistant. And then, all right, let me try, a thermostat. Okay, that's kind of good. Oh, I could use a camera. And each time they go out, they buy a new thing. And what Google and Amazon and all these companies are trying to do, mainly Google and Amazon, because they keep acquiring smaller, Amazon acquired Ring?
I think Blink too.
And Blink, and they also acquired Eero, the Wi-Fi router. So what they're trying to do is make it so when you make that one first purchase of, say, the Amazon Alexa, or say the Google Home, or say the Nest,
that's it.
You're then locked in for life to that brand. And I think that is really horrible because it's ruining consumer choice and ruining the drive for innovation where companies really have to compete. Instead, it's just going to be two companies that own all the smart home brands. And, you're either like a Google Assistant house or you're an Amazon Assistant house. So.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, that's my rant for the day. Gabe's rant. Boom, 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 boom. We need a little
new
sound
segment.
thing. Yeah.
Wow.
I think we should have a
we should
Gabe's
get
rant.
some sound. I see where you're coming from. My take is that it's kind of like Apple, and I think Apple's a really good example of this. Where you own everything, you can provide a significantly better experience. And so it's a tough challenge of where you either get a great... Gabe's like cracking his knuckles. Well, I guess I'll finish up. You either get a really, really strong experience, or you get a more open and competitive landscape. I definitely enjoy some of the experiences Google and Amazon have been able to build.
I'm going to stop you from digging a hole right now. I would say the biggest difference, you brought up Apple, the biggest difference between those companies, Apple, Amazon, Google, and I'd even put Facebook in here because they're also trying to get into the smart home a little bit with Portal, but very poorly, I will say.
They're just going to portal themselves out?
Yeah, get out of here, Facebook. The biggest difference is that Google and Amazon make money off of you and selling your information and access to your information to companies. So, hey, they can, Amazon knows you like this, they can give you, this. Google knows you like this, they can serve you this ad. Apple doesn't do that. And so I think of all the companies, even though I think Apple has its own issues with trust and privacy and stuff, and what they do with your information, and how they sell you into their ecosystem and lock you in,
and how Siri is just so bad.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I think of all of them, the walled garden of Apple is at least a walled garden that doesn't have a little hole in where someone's peeping in and telling everyone outside or all the businesses outside what you're doing.
I can definitely understand that.
So
yeah, well,
I like you tend to have a more optimistic and you look at the positives of what it's offering consumers.
Yeah.
And I tend to, I think, be a little more hesitant.
Businesses are just going to eat it.
I jump full in. I'm 2 feet in, with a Google and an Amazon Assistant and smart home products.
If your home is going to rip itself apart, you need to choose an alliance.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I understand that, companies are taking my information constantly, and I'm not too concerned about it, but I also, I try to be aware of it. and really every announcement that you see come out about new products or new services, yeah, it might be really awesome, and it might come from designers and people who are creating this are really excited about it. But on the back end are the business end of that company saying, yeah, cha-ching, this is a way to make even more money off of people's information.
Wow. My take is I'm okay with it.
And I'm out. Drop the mic, and I'm gone. Well, I can't really get away that fast because I have my ankle still in a thing,
just, roll away slowly. My take is I provide my information, and in exchange, Google, for example, provides very helpful products and services that I feel make my life easier, and I'm okay with that. I'm not doing anything with my data anyway. Might as well get a beneficial product or service, like getting recommended times to leave for work, or knowing my traffic on my personalized commute, or being able to say, hey, call mom, and know who mom is, things like that. I think that's about.
But what here's the question.
Yeah.
But what if you have, for example, say Google knows that say you go to I don't know, they know where you get your gas. Say they know you always get your gas from this Irving on this street or whatever. Or they just know it's in Irving is all that really matters. And they also know that Irving's paying them to make customers who are buying their gas drive further, because that means they're going to have to fill up more often. So Google goes, okay, we're not going to make it too obvious, but say we add an extra 0.1 miles to your distance or to your driving routes, or take you a little farther, routes that might be faster but might be more fuel inefficient. That's just, it's stuff that it's a way to that it looks to a consumer, it looks really helpful and stuff, and you don't see what's going on behind the scenes, that there's all these strings being pulled, that something completely, you wouldn't think that they'd be affecting your fuel efficiency or your, how much you're spending there. But I don't know. I don't even know. They probably aren't even doing stuff like that, but you never know.
The possibility and the idea for the possibility has been planted.
Where there's money to be made, people will always make money.
We should be doing this.
That's pretty much a given. That's if there's one thing in life, if there's a chance to make a buck,
someone's already making that buck.
That buck is being made twice over already.
Wow. Yeah. I never thought about that for sure. I guess they have a tremendous amount of responsibility.
So people, I am saying throw out all your technology. the podcast just cuts out, just smashing stuff. But no, yeah. I don't think you have to be that draconian or crazy.
It's okay. I'll buy an electric car.
All right.
Yeah.
That's connected into the internet.
Joke's on them. Yeah, that's right. They'll get no data on me, Gabe.
Yeah, let me just sign in with Google here and do that. And they know, all of a sudden you're driving, you have your Tesla autopilot in, you fall asleep, you wake up parked at a Walmart. What? I didn't even want to go here. Wait, and it's like, no, now you're taking me. It's like, I want to go to the grocery store. Let me go to wait, why are you taking me to Tops? It's like, sorry, Tops has paid us to. We have to drive you by here on your way to Wegmans. That would just be, in the future, you never know. I do like. I like thinking of the scary future, right? It's kind of fun.
Have you been watching a lot of Black Mirror?
I actually don't watch Black Mirror. I watched on Amazon Prime. It's Electric Dreams. So for people who do like Black Mirror, it's called Electric Dreams on Amazon Prime. Very similar. But I think looking at science fiction is very a good way to look at our current technology.
It definitely gives you a new lens to absorb information through.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I have on Google I/O. We were in.
We trashed Google.
We were out. Gabe trashed Google.
Enough conspiracy theories.
I placed my order for the next Google. No.
Do you think do I win the award for this episode?
We can make up fabricate an award here. We have a shopping cart right here. Gabe,
the golden shopping cart.
I present to you the silver and red.
Let's pretend it's gold. They can't see it. It's golden.
Yeah, good. I present to you the solid gold shopping cart award for being consumer-minded and giving us a new perspective.
Well, I think my shopping cart would have a missile on it, right?
And you would just launch it.
For people to, or a machine gun, for people to help fight off the businesses that are preying on them. Interesting. So that's my shopping cart.
I still want to put my phone mount on it so I can find groceries while walking around the store.
Well, yeah. So we'll have the shopping cart award for each episode.
Okay.
So I win the first. I think, can we go back? I think retroactively, I've won all the other ones too. We'll just say. So this is actually thanks. I mean,
wow. I should have done this sooner.
I hate to win my, I hate to see me go 7 or 8-0, but
did you just make your own award? And then give it to yourself?
What? No, the unilateral board of award givers for podcasts came up with that and gave it to me, and I'm humbled. I gotta say thank you for the people who gave this to me. I know, I was the underdog coming into this, and I guess not the underdog. I'd received it all 7-8 times before, but yeah, thank you people for giving me the shopping cart.
I gave you the shopping cart.
Golden cart. Well, okay. Well, don't try to win the golden shopping cart by saying that you gave it to me. Gosh, wow. I think, do we have a negative award here too? Because I think that has Stetson's name on it now. But no. Yeah, that's the episode, guys. It feels good to be back in the same room.
It really does. And no school. Oh my God. We had all afternoon to record this. No looming events. It was phenomenal. That's the episode, though.
Yeah. Do you have any sending out messages, Stetson, for people to?
Yeah, we have to plug ourselves. So find us on Instagram and are we on Facebook?
Yeah, we
Email us. Pinch to Zoom pod. Wait, what are our handles? Oh wow. God.
Stetson is not Stetson. I think I have to. Your classes of school might be out, but I'm enrolling you in a 1-day class of Gabe's social media school because I think you need that. He just the other day tweeted out, or he shared his Instagram photo to Twitter.
Oh, you read that?
I'm sorry, I'm roasting you live, but yeah. For those who don't know, if you share a photo directly from the Instagram app to Twitter, it only tweets a link out, which is very ugly. And if, for example, you had a longer description in your post than can fit on the character limit for Twitter, it will just cut it off abruptly with a ... and then have the link to Instagram. So yeah, it is one of the side effects of Facebook buying Instagram, but the workaround is simply tweet out the photo. It takes a little extra work, but it is nice.
I have now tweeted out the photo, and
yeah, check out. Stetson did get the Pixel 3a from Google, so check out his unboxing coming out shortly.
At StetsDog, and you can find us on Instagram at Pinch to Zoom Podcast.
Is that where you're doing this whole time? Is looking at our handle? Yeah.
What?
Just if you search Pinch to Zoom on most of the social networks, you should find us. We're the one with it looks like the album artwork that you're seeing on the podcast. And also, of course, if you do have any questions, tweet them at us or email us at pinchtozoompodcast@gmail.com.
And that's the episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Stetson.
And I'm still Gabe.
And
I won the award.
And Gabe won the award. And I guess we have to do an outro or something now.
No, that's the
it.
outro.
We just stop.
They're playing me off for my award speech. You know how they don't like it going on too long. So the music comes up right about now.
Okay.